In the summer of 2021, a quiet fishing expedition on a serene lake turned into the unraveling of a decades-old mystery. What began as an ordinary day for one fisherman ended with a discovery that sent shockwaves through the local community. As his sonar equipment scanned the lake's depths, an unexpected image appeared on the screen: a sunken car, eerily intact and covered in layers of algae and silt. What secrets lay hidden within? The story that followed would be both heart-wrenching and unforgettable. Before we dive into this incredible tale, make sure to subscribe for more stories of mystery and discovery that will leave you captivated. An ordinary day on the lake. The lake was a beloved fishing spot, nestled in a quiet corner of a small Midwestern town. Known for its calm waters and abundant fish, it was the perfect place for locals to escape the hustle and bustle of daily life. The fisherman, an experienced angler named Paul, had brought along his sonar equipment to track schools of fish more effectively. Paul had used sonar hundreds of times before, so when a peculiar rectangular shape appeared on his screen, he was immediately intrigued. It didn't look like a rock or debris. As he adjusted the device, the image became clearer: a car, submerged about 30 feet below the surface. The realization that it wasn't natural made Paul uneasy. How did a car end up in this lake? And for how long had it been sitting there? Initially, Paul thought it could be a prank or an abandoned vehicle dumped long ago. But something about the car's condition suggested it wasn't just an ordinary piece of junk. He decided to cast his line elsewhere, but couldn't shake the image from his mind. By the time he left the lake, he had made up his mind to call the local authorities. The local sheriff's office responded quickly, sending a team to investigate. When the divers arrived at the scene, they prepared to uncover what lay beneath the surface. The process wasn't straightforward. The murky water and years of sediment made it difficult to access the vehicle. The car's exterior was heavily coated in silt and algae, giving it an almost ghostly appearance. As the divers worked to identify the vehicle, they noticed that the windows were still intact and the doors were locked. When a flashlight beam penetrated the car's interior, the divers made a chilling discovery. Skeletal remains were visible inside the driver's seat. The eerie find immediately transformed what could have been dismissed as a case of illegal dumping into a potential crime scene. The sheriff's office cordoned off the area, and soon, news of the discovery spread throughout the small town, unraveling the mystery. Using the vehicle's license plate, investigators identified it as a car that had been reported missing in 1998. The owner was Emily Summers, a young woman who had vanished one stormy night while driving home from a friend's house. Emily's disappearance had devastated the community. At the time, local police had launched a full-scale search, combing through wooded areas, nearby roads, and even parts of the lake. Witnesses reported seeing Emily leaving her friend's home, but beyond that, her trail went cold. Her family, especially her parents and younger brother, were left grappling with questions that would remain unanswered for more than 2 decades. Over the years, theories about her disappearance had ranged from foul play to the possibility of her leaving voluntarily. Some speculated that she might have been abducted, while others thought she had simply run away. With no substantial evidence, the case eventually went cold. Now, over 20 years later, the discovery of her car reopened old wounds and provided a chance to finally solve the mystery. Piecing together the clues. When the car was pulled from the lake, its condition painted a tragic picture. Investigators found Emily's purse on the passenger seat, containing her ID, some cash, and a few personal items. A cassette tape was still lodged in the car's stereo, frozen in time from the night she disappeared. But the most significant find was Emily's journal, a small notebook tucked away in the glove compartment. It contained a collection of her thoughts and reflections, giving investigators and her family a glimpse into her life before the tragedy. The journal painted a picture of a young woman filled with hopes and dreams, but also hints of worry about the pressures she faced. Her brother, who was given the journal after it was processed for evidence, shared that Emily had always been someone who lit up a room with her laughter, but often carried burdens she didn't share openly. Forensics examined the car's mechanical systems and found evidence that the brakes had likely failed. Combined with the rainy conditions and the sharp curves near the lake, investigators believed Emily might have lost control of the vehicle, sending it careening into the water. Reconstructing the events of that stormy evening, investigators theorized that Emily had been driving home along the dark, winding road near the lake. Without guardrails and with poor visibility due to the heavy rain, she may have been unable to stop in time after losing control. This theory seemed to explain the scratches along the car's side, which indicated it had scraped against something, a tree or embankment, before plunging into the lake. The locked doors and intact windows suggested Emily might have been trapped inside the car as it sank, unable to escape. Community response. The revelation brought the entire town together. Many people still remembered Emily's disappearance and were heartbroken to learn of her fate. A makeshift memorial sprang up near the lake, where flowers, candles, and notes were placed in her memory. Emily's family, while devastated by the confirmation of her death, expressed gratitude for finally knowing the truth. Her brother said, "For so long, we hoped she'd walk through the door one day. Now, we can at least bring her home and honor her memory properly." Paul, the fisherman who had stumbled upon the car, was hailed as a local hero for helping solve the mystery. In interviews, he expressed a mix of emotions, saying, It's tragic, but I'm glad her family finally has some answers. If I hadn't been out on the lake that day, who knows how much longer this would have remained hidden." The discovery also led to practical changes. Local officials installed guardrails along the lake's edge and improved signage to warn drivers about the hazardous curves. The tragedy served as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by poor road conditions and the importance of safety measures. For the wider community, the story underscored the importance of not giving up on cold cases. Advances in technology, such as sonar and underwater imaging, have made it possible to uncover evidence that would have remained hidden decades ago. A heartbreaking end, but a chance to heal. The discovery of Emily's car and the tragic circumstances surrounding her death brought a profound sense of loss, but also a bittersweet opportunity for closure. For over 2 decades, her family had lived with the unbearable uncertainty of not knowing what happened to their daughter and sister. Every passing year had been filled with unanswered questions and fleeting glimmers of hope. When holidays came around, there was always an empty chair at the table, a void that no one dared to speak of, but everyone felt deeply. For her parents, the confirmation of Emily's death was devastating, but it also allowed them to grieve in a way they hadn't been able to before. Her mother, Mary, described it as a mix of emotions. "We've been carrying this weight for so long. Knowing the truth doesn't make the pain go away, but it does let us start to heal." She recalled Emily's infectious laughter, her love for painting, and the way she would always sing along to the radio, no matter how off-key. These memories became the family's solace, a way to celebrate Emily's life despite the tragedy. Emily's younger brother, who had been just 12 years old when she disappeared, shared how her loss had shaped his life. "I used to think she might still be out there somewhere," he said. "Every time the phone rang or there was a knock at the door, I hoped it would be her. Now, at least we know. It hurts, but we can finally lay her to rest." He decided to honor her memory by organizing a scholarship in her name at the local high school, aimed at helping students pursue their artistic passion, something Emily had always dreamed of. The community also rallied together in a show of solidarity. Neighbors who had been part of the initial search efforts back in 1998 came forward to support the family once again. Many spoke about how Emily's disappearance had been a dark cloud over the town, a lingering reminder of how fragile life could be. The makeshift memorial by the lake grew over the weeks, with strangers stopping by to pay their respects. Some left flowers, while others left personal notes, expressing how Emily's story had touched their lives. Paul, the fisherman whose discovery had brought the mystery to light, found himself grappling with his own emotions. "I never thought I'd be part of something like this," he said. "I was just out fishing, doing something I've done 100 times. It's hard to put into words how I feel grateful that her family finally has answers, but also deeply saddened by the outcome." Paul became a quiet figure in the background of the story, avoiding the spotlight but continuing to reflect on the day he found the car. In the wake of the discovery, the town came together to hold a candlelight vigil at the lake. The event was attended by hundreds, including Emily's family, old friends, and even those who had never met her but felt connected through her story. As the sun set over the water, candles illuminated the shore, and people shared stories about Emily's kindness and the joy she had brought to those around her. For the family, the vigil marked a turning point, a chance to shift the narrative from loss to remembrance. While the lake would always carry the weight of Emily's story, it also became a place of reflection and healing. Her family planted a tree near the shoreline, a living tribute to her memory. "Whenever I see this tree grow, I'll think of her," Mary said. "She'll always be with us, in every breeze and every leaf." The tragedy also sparked broader conversations about the importance of technology in solving cold cases. Investigators credited modern sonar equipment for bringing closure to a case that had baffled authorities for years. Across the country, families of other missing persons found renewed hope that advancements in technology might one day provide answers for their own unresolved heartache. Though the story of Emily Summers ended in heartbreak, her legacy became a testament to the strength of love, community, and the human spirit's capacity to heal. Her family's journey from uncertainty to closure resonated with people far beyond their small town, reminding the world that even in the face of tragedy, it's possible to find light. Would you ever expect such a haunting discovery in a quiet lake? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of mysteries of discovery and hope.